Curry crossover, three-pointer, bang!
Steph Curry, just 3 for 10 from three-point range, just 18 points. But the three that mattered most for the Golden State Warriors, the proverbial dagger to win Game 1 against the Houston Rockets, 104-100. Chris Miles here with Derek Fisher, Caron Butler. It was a duel between James Harden and Kevin Durant. This one lived up to the billing, but again, it was Steph Curry making that huge shot.
Yeah, look, I thought he delivered in a timely fashion, had foul trouble, and was struggling with his opportunities throughout the game only because you had a guy in Kevin Durant that was performing at an amazing clip, which he has been doing that ever since he said, "Do you know my name, Kevin Durant?" Been very efficient, you know, averaging over 40 points per game. But I thought that he stepped up in a moment. Got the switch out that he wanted with Nene Hilaria on him, guarding him, sized him up, got the airspace, cash.
Good game. I mean, you know, both teams were a little sloppy at times, but the Warriors have more guys down the stretch that can get a basket when needed. Durant got them to the position where Curry was able to supply the dagger, but Durant's greatness put him in that position for that to be the one. And that's what makes the Warriors really almost, you know, impossible to think about beating 4 times. When you have close games, they have multiple big shot makers and creators late in clocks.
Yeah, Golden State Warriors finished the game with 20 turnovers. We know that's been their Achilles heel during their run to the finals the last couple of years. They had 8 in the first quarter, so they kind of scaled that back as the game progressed. For the Houston Rockets, they had a lot of opportunities down the stretch, especially with James Harden driving and making some crucial buckets. But when they look back at this game, are they going to look at the back and forth with the referees as part of the reason that they lost this game? You saw Mike D'Antoni, Chris Paul get the technicals with a few minutes left in this one when it was still a close game. It just feels like there was a lot of back and forth with the referees as opposed to Houston taking the onus on their own.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be their choice, I think, on how they decide this game was lost. Do you put that power and give that power away to the officials, or do you take it yourself and say that, okay, we got out-rebounded 38-26? Do you say that we could have been better in terms of some breakdowns defensively, that we could have been tighter with the basketball and not had bad turnovers or maybe even poor shot selection at times? Those are all things that the Rockets can control. The only way you win playoff series is to focus on the things that you can't control. And so they have a choice to put the energy into others or to put it into themselves and come back and be better.
And the welcoming sign that I seen, you know, after the game was James Harden walking off the court clapping, you know, feeling encouraged, and his guys was like that also because, look, you know, Chris Paul get ejected, and you're spending the majority of the game trying to figure out what constitutes the landing spot on foul shots, or was it a foul? Instead of just putting all that energy in that, just focus on the matter at hand and the mission in winning the game and ultimately winning the series.
Let's take a look back at some of those final plays towards the end of the game. And again, you know, it's James Harden trying to create for his team. First, we see the steal here, 103-100. And it was good defense on Harden most of the game. But, Fish, is something you and I talked about, right? The idea of, is that a foul or not? Crowding the space of the shooter if he jumps ahead like Harden does here. There's a difference between the defender getting all the way over and getting into that space and the offensive player crossing into that space. What do you see here?
Yeah, that's what I see on this play. I do think there were some plays earlier in the game with Klay Thompson, maybe where there was contact and James didn't jump as far forward as he did on that one. But that particular play, I think the official is saying, look, an offensive player can't lunge forward 3 feet because the defender also has the right to contest the shot in some way. And if you jump too far forward as an offensive player, you're now claiming a much larger circle of landing spot compared to going up and shooting a more natural offensive jump shot.
Look, I think he's one of the toughest guys to officiate in the association because, one, he's extremely clever and he knows how to take advantage of angles, but he also mastered the art of taking the contact, absorbing the contact, and, giving you the display of, I don't want to call it a flop, but he shows you so much energy after the contacts and stuff like that. So you just got to be clever when you're officiating a guy like James Harden.
We're going to continue this discussion on James Harden and those calls after we hear from Mike D'Antoni.
Kelly, you go the athletic coach. You guys were out rebounded and you gave a lot of points in the paint. Is there anything that you can take heading into game 2 to prevent that?
Yeah, I mean, we got to do a little bit better job. We had our chances to win. You're just not going to come in and just blow these guys away. So things have to go right, and a couple of lapses boxing out. But overall, I thought we played well enough to win and just didn't get it done.
Kareth Burke, NBC Sports Bay Area. Mike, if I'm reading your lips correctly as you walked off the court, let me just say you looked angry, sir.
You didn't want to do that.
You looked angry, sir.
You didn't want to do that.
Can you give us your perspective of the last 20 seconds of this game?
Well, last 20 seconds, I've already lost my mind before that, so I don't have a clue what happened the last 20 seconds. I don't know. I thought we played hard as we could play, and things just didn't go our way, and we did a good job last 20 seconds, just coming up with the steal, having a chance at a tie on a three-point that James, could have got hit good and not. Who knows? I mean, I know, but anyway, whatever. But we're right there. We had our chances to win. We missed a couple foul shots, had a couple technicals that cost us at the end because we were only down 3 or whatever. So, I have to do a better job, and we'll do better. But we had our chance, and Tuesday, hopefully, we have another chance.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Mike, clearly you felt that James in particular and Chris on at least one occasion were getting fouled when they're closing out on 3. What was the response you were getting when you were discussing that with the refs?
Well, I'm going to really try to be a nice guy, because I really don't want to give the charity to them. I'd rather have my charity and have the money. So, the response was they just came at halftime and said they missed it. That's what they told me. So they missed 4 of them. That's 12 foul shots. So be it. They're trying to do the best they can do. And, obviously it was what it was.
The tees obviously were costly. You think the rest were being
real costly.
A little too sensitive, or do you guys need to sort of
Yeah, we just
back?
need to just suck it up and don't worry about how they officiate and sit there and take it. Yeah, I'm getting a little old for that, but that's just how it goes. I try not to curse, or I try not to completely be a jerk. Obviously, it didn't work. So I don't know. I don't know. It's beyond me.
Brian Bearfield, KYK Sports. Coach, what can you do better in the next game to stop Kevin Durant? He wasn't effective the first half, but he really got going that second half.
Well, if you need to email me and tell me, because I don't think anybody ever knows that, and he's just shooting it over top. He's one of the greatest players ever, and I thought we did a great job, especially until PJ got a little bit of foul trouble, and then things happened. But and then Kevin happens. The guy's good. We held him to 104 points. That's good enough with 2 technicals and a lot of different things. So that side of it, we could have done better in the first half. We had some communication problems, and we'll learn as we go forward and tighten up our defense. But offensively, we just got to do a little bit better job.
Mike, Dan Wecke with the Los Angeles Times. 2 questions. First, why did you go to Nene there late?
He was playing great. He was guarding great. Rebounding could have been an issue. And, now looking back, I probably wouldn't have made that decision knowing what happened. But I had confidence that even if we switch out, he could get it done. And, Steph makes a great shot. So, give them credit.
Secondly, what did they do against Capella? It seemed like that kind of the James to Capella lob got really disconnected early.
Yeah, well, Draymond's good about faking that and going back. I don't think Clint played a normal game. He was lacking a little bit of energy. But that happens. But, we'll fix some things and we'll be better.
Coach, you're not going to have to go on the injury reserve after Chris ran it to you, are you?
Maybe that was, no, he got me pretty good though. But You know, 'cause I'm just sitting over there, so it doesn't matter if he got me or not, as long as he's okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, right here.
Mike, Art Spander, the Maven, you had them playing your style of basketball once you got out of the first quarter, so you had to be pleased with that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, and that's what we want to do. Now, you know, Durant made some hard shots, good shots, and Steph makes a big shot, obviously. You know, like I said, defensively, I thought we did a good job. We held them to what we needed to do. We had to be a little bit sharper offensively. You know, uncharacteristic, we missed some foul shots that we could have had. Gave them, you know, like I said, 2 technicals, which we can't on their home floor. You can't. It's hard to make up. And we could have easily gone to the line another 20 times during the game. So we're okay. I mean, we're okay.
Thank you.
All right.
So Mike D'Antoni said something interesting about guarding KD in the sense of he's one of the greatest players of all time. In the third quarter is really where he showcased that most. 15 points where it seemed as if the game was in flux and the Warriors took control.
Well, the way he's been playing, you know.
The last 4 games,
I mean,
count this as 5.
He's right. There isn't much that you can do yourself other than make him work as hard as possible, which I thought early in the game, P.J. Tucker was doing a good job forcing them a couple steps off the block. And I think that once P.J. Tucker was off of him for a little bit.
He had 4 fouls.
And House had to cover him and Shumpert and some other guys. I thought that's when KD was able to start to find some rhythm in this game. And it didn't surprise me that it took him a while to figure out the chess moves. When you have a 36-hour turnaround from one series to another, everything's different. How people are defending you, their length, their angles. And I think once he figured out the equation, it was the Kevin Durant we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think you touched on it while we was watching the game was they're trying to be as physical as possible with him early. So when he's catching the ball, he's forced to catch the basketball with his back to the defender. But you said, look, breathe, take your time, face him up. You're 7 foot with a ratchet, meaning that you can score on your face-up game with anybody, or you can be in a triple threat, go by, blow by anyone, and see the layers of defense that's coming at you, that's trying to attack you. And he just started isolating and shooting right over the top of the defenders.
So when you look at what KD was able to do in this particular game, as you know, Steph struggled to shoot the ball a bit. It did feel like the game revolved around Kevin Durant. So going forward, if you're the Rockets and you have to pick your poison, I mean, who are you trying to stop first?
I mean, you're going to try to stop Kevin Durant. Try. You know what I mean?
That's the operative word.
Yeah, you're going to try, you know. But look, he's able to exploit a matchup every night. And I think for a long time, he's just plugged himself seamlessly into the offense. But now he's like, look, I'm going to be the guy, and we're going to make all the defensive strategies adjust to what I'm doing. And then Steph and those guys are, you know, comfortable enough to just let him be the best possible version of himself and play off of him.
Here's Kevin Durant right now with Allie LaForce.